The huge hall on Zorath Prime glowed with soft blue light. Tall crystal pillars stood like frozen waterfalls around the edges. In the center sat the Great Council of the Galactic Concord. Hundreds of alien species had sent their leaders here. The Vexari came as tall, shining beings made of living crystal. Their bodies hummed with inner light. The Krell arrived in swarms of insect shapes, clicking and buzzing inside black armor shells. Other species filled the seats, long-necked beings from the gas worlds, floating blobs from the dark nebulae, and sharp-clawed hunters from the rim stars. They all looked down at the small human delegation, standing alone in the middle of the floor. Daniel Hayes stood straight. He wore a plain gray suit. Sweat ran down his back, even though the room felt cold. Next to him stood two aides, Lisa Monroe and Brian Cole. They held datapads tight in their hands. Daniel had come to talk about trade. Earth wanted better deals on rare metals. The council had called this meeting to discuss the human question. Daniel thought it would be a normal talk. He was wrong. The Vexari first speaker rose. His name was Zor Vex 7. His crystal body flashed red and gold as he spoke. The words came out clear and sharp through hidden speakers. "Humans of Earth," he said, "you spread too fast. You take worlds we claimed long ago. You fight when others would talk. You breed without control. Your numbers grow like fire in dry grass." Daniel stepped forward. "We only take empty worlds. We follow the old rules. We have not broken any major law." A low buzz came from the Krell seats. Their leader, Queen Mind Krell 9, answered through a translator that sounded like scraping metal. "You break the spirit of the rules. You refuse to join our shared economy. You keep your ships armed. You do not pay tribute." Daniel opened his mouth to answer, but Zorvex 7 raised one crystal arm. The hall went quiet. "We have voted," the Vexari said. "The decision is final." A huge hologram appeared above the floor. It showed Earth, Mars, the outer colonies, all marked in red. Words in many languages floated beside the image. "From this day," Zorvex 7 continued, "humanity is classified as pre-sentient labor reserve class. All colonies outside the Sol system will close. All human ships will surrender. All able adults will report for work assignment. You will mine the isotope fields of Karos 4, Varn Belt, and the Dead Reaches. This service will last until your species proves it can live in peace under Concord law." The words hung in the air. Daniel felt his stomach drop. He looked at Lisa. Her face had gone white. Brian stared at the hologram like he could not believe it. "This is slavery," Daniel said. His voice shook but stayed loud. "You cannot do this. We are a sovereign species. We have rights under the First Contact Charter." Zorvex 7 turned his faceless head toward Daniel. "The Charter applies to sentient equals. You are not yet equal. You are tools. Useful tools. That is all." Murmurs rose from the alien seats. Some sounded amused. Others sounded bored. Daniel clenched his fists. "You think we will just bow our heads? You think we will load ships and dig your mines forever?" The Krell Queen clicked her mandibles. "Many species bowed before you. They serve now. They live. They do not complain. You will learn the same." Daniel looked around the hall. No one spoke for him. No one looked surprised. They had planned this. They had talked about it behind closed doors. They had counted Earth's ships, counted Earth's people, and decided humans were weak. He took one step closer to the Vexari. "Listen to me. You do not know what you start today. You see farmers and factory workers. You see traders and students. You do not see what happens when you put chains on people who remember freedom." Zorvex 7 made a sound like breaking glass, his version of laughter. "Threats from a child race. Cute. Guards, remove them." 4 tall Krell soldiers stepped forward. Their claws clicked on the stone floor. They grabbed Daniel's arms. Lisa and Brian tried to step in front, but more guards pushed them back. Daniel shouted over his shoulder as they dragged him toward the exit. "This is not over. Earth will not forget. You will regret this day." The doors closed behind them with a heavy thud. Inside the hall, the council moved on to other business. They spoke of new mining quotas. They spoke of fleet patrols. They spoke as if nothing important had happened. Outside in the cold corridor, Daniel pulled free from the guards. They let him go. They knew he could not fight here. Lisa touched his shoulder. "What do we do now?" Daniel looked back at the sealed doors. His eyes burned. "We go home," he said. "We tell everyone the truth. We prepare." They walked to the shuttle bay in silence. The alien guards watched them leave. One Krell soldier turned to another and made a low chirp that sounded like a joke. They laughed in their clicking way. The human shuttle lifted off Zorath Prime. It flew toward the jump point. Inside the small cabin, Daniel sat and stared at the stars. He opened a secure line to Earth. The face of President Laura Bennett appeared on the screen. She looked tired, but calm. "Daniel," she said, "how did it go?" Daniel took a deep breath. "They voted. They declared us slaves. They want our people in chains. All of us." Laura closed her eyes for a second. When she opened them again, they looked hard. "Did they give a reason?" "They said we spread too fast. We fight too much. We do not obey." "And what did you say?" "I told them they would regret it." A small, tired smile touched her lips. "Good, because they will." Daniel leaned closer to the screen. "Laura, they have fleets we cannot match yet. Their tech is centuries ahead." "I know," she said, "but they forgot one thing." "What?" "Humans do not break easy, and when we get angry, we get very angry." Daniel looked out the window. The stars moved past in long streaks as the shuttle jumped toward home. Back on Earth, people still lived normal lives. Children went to school. Workers drove to jobs. Families ate dinner and watched shows. They did not know yet what waited, but soon they would. In a deep bunker under Colorado, Admiral Christopher Kane listened to the same message Daniel sent. He sat in a dark room full of screens. Officers stood around him. Kane rubbed his short gray hair. He looked at the map of the galaxy. Red dots showed alien fleets near human space. "They think we are insects," he said quietly. One officer, a young woman named Megan Ruiz, spoke up. "Sir, what do we do?" Kane stared at the map a long time. "We wait," he said. "We watch, we build, and when the time comes, we show them what insects can do when they swarm." He turned off the screen. Outside, the sun set over the mountains. The world looked peaceful. But under the ground, in hidden factories, in secret labs, in quiet rooms where people whispered plans, something new began. A fire. A slow, patient, angry fire. The galaxy had made its choice. Now Earth would make its answer. The first ships came without warning. One morning the sky above New Horizon Colony filled with black shapes. They looked like giant insects with glowing red eyes. Krell hive fleets dropped from orbit like falling stars. Their landing pods hit the ground hard. Dust clouds rose high. Human warning sirens screamed, but it was already too late. Matthew Rivera woke to the sound of explosions. He lived in a small house on the edge of the mining town. His wife Emily pulled him out of bed. Their 2 kids cried in the next room. Outside, plasma bolts lit the night. Human defense guns fired back, but the alien ships were too many and too strong. "Get the kids to the shelter," Matthew said. He grabbed his tool belt. "I'll try to slow them." Emily shook her head. "We go together." They ran through the streets. People ran everywhere. Some carried bags. Some carried nothing but fear. Above them, Vexari dreadnoughts hung like silver moons. Their beams cut through buildings like knives through paper. The colony fell in hours. Krell soldiers marched in. They were tall and covered in black shells. Their claws clicked as they moved. They rounded up survivors. Matthew, Emily, and the kids stood in a long line with thousands of others. A Krell overseer scanned them with a red light. It buzzed when it reached Matthew. "Worker class, strong arms, send to isotope pits," the overseer said through its translator. They loaded Matthew onto a transport ship. Emily and the kids went to another. He tried to fight the guards. A claw hit his side. Pain exploded. He fell. When he woke, he was on a cold moon called Karos 4. Gray dust covered everything. The sky was always dark red. The work started the next day. Huge machines dug deep holes. Humans worked in chains. They wore thin suits that leaked air. The isotope ore glowed faintly blue. It burned skin if you touched it too long. Overseers walked among the lines. They carried whips made of light. One crack, and a worker fell screaming. Matthew worked in Pit 7. His team included a young mechanic named Kevin Morales and an older woman named Samantha Ellis. Samantha had been a soldier once. She never talked much, but her eyes stayed sharp. Days turned into weeks, then months. Food came in gray blocks. Water tasted like metal. Sleep happened on hard bunks in underground barracks. Every day the same. Dig, carry, load, repeat. If you slowed, the whip found you. If you talked back, they took you away. No one knew where. But humans are good at hiding things. In the dark tunnels, Matthew found weak spots in the machines. The alien drills used power cells that overheated fast. He started small sabotages. A loose wire here, a blocked vent there. Nothing big enough to notice right away. Just enough to make the drills stop for hours. The overseers blamed bad maintenance. They punished random workers, but the machines kept failing more often. Kevin helped. He was good with wires. At night, in the barracks, they whispered plans. "If we can get one full drill offline for a day," Kevin said, "we can steal parts. Maybe build something." Samantha listened. "We need more than parts. We need weapons. We need a way off this rock." Words spread slowly. Not everyone trusted everyone. Fear kept mouths shut, but anger grew. Every whip mark, every dead friend, every child taken to separate camps. It built like pressure in a closed pipe. On Earth, things were worse. The blockade ships circled the planet like sharks. No ships in, no ships out. Food rationed, power cut in many cities. People stood in lines for bread. Soldiers patrolled streets. But under the streets, in old subway tunnels and mountain caves, people worked. Nicole Grant led one group in New York. She had been a teacher before. Now she organized supply runs. Smugglers brought food from hidden farms. Doctors treated wounds in secret rooms. Engineers studied pieces of alien tech they had captured in the first fights. One night, Nicole met a scientist named Ashley Torres. Ashley worked in a hidden lab under the old university. She showed Nicole a small device. "This is from a crashed Krell drone," Ashley said. "I cracked its code. Their security is strong, but not perfect. If we get more pieces, we can learn how their shields work." Nicole nodded. "Keep going. We need every edge." Back on Karos 4, something changed. One day the overseers brought new prisoners. Among them was Daniel Hayes. He looked thinner. Scars crossed his face, but his eyes still burned. Matthew saw him in the food line. Daniel looked around carefully, then spoke low. "I'm organizing," Daniel said. "Not here, not yet, but soon. Pass the word. Tell people to wait, to watch, to remember." Matthew felt hope for the first time in months. That night, in the barracks, he told Kevin and Samantha. Samantha smiled for the first time. "The ambassador lives. Good. They started planning bigger things. Matthew found a way to hide small tools in the ore carts. Kevin drew maps of the guard posts on scraps of cloth. Samantha taught quiet fighting moves to anyone who would learn. The aliens did not notice. On the capital world of the Concord, the council watched reports. Zorvex 7 sat in his crystal chair. Holograms floated around him. They showed mining output rising, slave numbers steady, rebellion small, and crushed fast. "See," he said to the other council members, "they break like all the others. In time, they will forget freedom." Queen Mind Krell 9 clicked agreement. Their spirit fades. No more uprisings in the core worlds, only whispers. They laughed in their different ways. But on a small moon far away, in a dark tunnel, Matthew Rivera held a stolen plasma cutter. He cut a hidden panel in the wall. Behind it lay parts he had collected for months: wires, chips, a small power core. Kevin knelt beside him. This could make a bomb. Small, but enough to take out a guard tower. Matthew looked at him. "Not yet. We wait for the signal." Samantha stood watch at the tunnel mouth. "The signal will come. I feel it." Far above, in space, a single human scout ship drifted silent among asteroids. It had slipped the blockade months ago. Inside, Admiral Christopher Kane watched screens. His face looked older, harder. A message came in code. From Earth. "Phase 1 complete," it read. "Labs ready. Networks growing. Fury waits." Kane allowed himself a small smile. The galaxy thought humanity had accepted chains. They were wrong. Every day more humans learned to hate in silence. Every night more plans grew in the dark. Every scar made the anger deeper. The whips still fell. The mines still glowed. The overseers still walked proud. But under the surface, something moved. Like a storm building far out at sea. Quiet, patient, inevitable. And when it hit, nothing in the galaxy would be ready. Years passed under the alien whips. The mines on Keros 4 never stopped. The dust never settled. But something inside the humans changed. It did not break them. It sharpened them. Matthew Rivera no longer looked like the tired engineer from New Horizon. His arms were thin but hard like steel cables. His eyes stayed narrow and watchful. He still worked the isotope pits every day. He still carried heavy loads. But now he moved with purpose. Every swing of the pick hit a count. Every glance at the guards marked a pattern. In the hidden tunnels, the secret stash grew. Small bombs made from stolen power cells. Short-range jammers built from broken drone parts. Knives sharpened from scrap metal. Kevin Morales led the night work. His hands never shook anymore. He wired devices that could fry a guard's armor from 10 meters away. Samantha Ellis trained the others. She picked strong ones first, then the quiet ones, then anyone who wanted to learn. In the dark barracks, she showed them how to strike fast, how to use body weight, how to turn pain into anger. "They think we are animals," she said one night. "We will show them we are hunters." Word spread to other pits, to other moons. Hidden messages traveled in ore carts, scratched codes on water pipes, whispers during meal breaks. Not everyone joined. Fear still held many back, but enough listened, enough waited. On a labor moon called Varn 9, a transport ship landed one day. Guards pushed out new prisoners. Among them walked Daniel Hayes. He looked older. His hair had gray streaks. A long scar ran down his cheek. But he walked tall. The guards did not chain him tight. They thought the years had beaten him. They were wrong. That night, Daniel met Matthew in a side tunnel. Kevin and Samantha stood guard. "You still here?" Daniel asked with a small smile. "Couldn't leave without saying goodbye," Matthew said. Daniel looked at the hidden weapons. "You've been busy." "We had time," Samantha said. "Too much time." Daniel nodded. "Earth is ready. The signal is close. We strike soon. All at once. No warning. He told them the plan. Hidden ships waited in deep space. Sleeper fleets built in secret shipyards under Earth's oceans. Weapons tested in asteroid belts. Scientists like Ashley Torres had cracked alien shields. Engineers like Kevin had made human versions. Unstable, but deadly. The galaxy thinks we forgot how to fight, Daniel said. They will learn we never forgot. Back on Earth, the resistance grew stronger every day. Nicole Grant moved through the underground tunnels of old Chicago. She carried messages between cells. She brought food. She brought hope. One evening, she entered a large hidden room. Lights ran on stolen power. Tables held maps and screens. Admiral Christopher Kane stood at the center. He looked thinner. His uniform was worn, but his voice stayed steady. Nicole walked up. "Sir, the outer camps report ready. They wait for your word." Kane studied a hologram of the galaxy. Red dots showed alien bases. Blue dots showed human strongholds. Hidden, small, growing. "Tell them to hold," he said. "One more month. We need the last ships online." In a corner, Dr. Ashley Torres worked on a device. It looked like a black box with glowing lines. She tested it. A small alien drone floated in. When she pressed a button, the drone sparked and fell dead. "Control virus complete," she said. "It will spread through their hive links, turn their own ships against them." Kane nodded. "Good work." He turned to the room. Officers and fighters watched him. "We have waited long enough," he said. "They took our homes. They took our families. They took our freedom. Now we take it back." A quiet cheer rose. Not loud, not wild, just determined. On Zorath Prime, the council met again. Zorvex 7 sat in his shining chair. Reports scrolled across crystal screens. "Output from human labor worlds is steady," he said. "Minor disruptions. Nothing serious. Their spirit is broken." Queen Mind Krell 9 clicked softly. "We see small revolts. Crushed quickly. No threat." A smaller alien delegate spoke up, a floating blob from the nebulae. "I hear rumors. Human ships in deep space. Hidden." Zorvex 7 flashed blue, amused. "Rumors. Always rumors. They have no fleet left. We destroyed it years ago." The council moved on. They talked of new worlds to claim, new species to bring under control. They did not see the change coming. On Karos 4, the spark finally lit. It started small. A guard tower exploded at dawn. A stolen bomb. No one claimed it. The overseers blamed faulty power. They sent extra guards. That night, another tower went dark. A virus from Kevin's device shut down the lights. In the confusion, Samantha's team moved. They took out 3 guards quietly, took their weapons, took their comms. The next day, the pits worked slower. Tools broke more often. Overseers whipped harder. But the humans did not scream as loud. They looked at each other. They nodded. Daniel walked the lines. He spoke to small groups. "Soon," he said. "Be ready." A week later, the signal came. It was a single encrypted pulse from deep space. Only the right people knew the code. On every labor world, the same thing happened. Explosions, blackouts, guards falling to hidden knives. Prisoners rising with stolen guns. On Karos 4, Matthew led his team to the main control building. They fought through the halls. Plasma shots lit the dark. Samantha took a hit to the shoulder, but kept moving. Kevin hacked the main door. Inside, they found the Overseer console. Matthew plugged in Ashley's virus. The screens flickered. Red warnings flashed. Across the moon, Krell drones turned. They fired on their own guards. Chaos spread. Daniel stood on a high platform. He spoke into a stolen comm. His voice went out to every camp. This is Daniel Hayes. The day has come. Rise. Fight. Take back what is yours. The response came in shouts, in explosions, in the sound of running feet. On Var 9, prisoners stormed the landing fields. They took transports. They flew them into orbit. On other worlds, the same. Human sleeper ships woke from hiding. They dropped out of asteroid fields. They dropped from ocean depths on Earth. They rose from hidden bases on Mars. Admiral Christopher Kane stood on the bridge of the lead ship. The name on the hull read simply, Vengeance. He looked at the stars. "Send the order," he said. The fleets moved. The galaxy still slept, but the storm had begun. It moved quiet at first, then faster, then unstoppable. The chains were breaking, and the fury waited no longer. The revolt started at the same moment on 100 worlds. No warning, no speeches, just action. On Karos 4, the main control dome exploded first. Matthew Rivera pressed the button himself. The blast lit the dark sky orange. Shards of crystal and metal rained down. Krell guards turned in confusion. Before they could raise weapons, Samantha Ellis and her fighters charged from the tunnels. They moved fast and quiet. Knives flashed. Plasma shots cracked. Guards fell one after another. Matthew ran to the landing field. Kevin Morales was already there. He had hacked the transport locks. Ships powered up. Engines roared. Prisoners poured in. Some carried wounded friends. Others carried stolen guns. They lifted off in waves. Gray dust swirled behind them. In orbit, the first human sleeper ships appeared. They had waited years in the shadows of gas giants. Now they moved. Their hulls looked patched and rough. But inside, the weapons were sharp and hungry. Admiral Christopher Kane watched from the Bridge of Vengeance. Screens showed the galaxy lighting up with blue human signals. Red alien ones blinked out, one by one. "Send the fleets," he said. His voice stayed calm. The order went out. Human ships jumped in. They came from everywhere. Asteroid belts, dead moons, hidden shipyards under frozen oceans. Thousands of them. Not shiny like alien dreadnoughts. Not perfect, but fast and angry. The Battle of Zorath Prime began without ceremony. The council sat in their great hall when the alarm screamed. Zorvek 7 rose, his crystal body flashed red in panic. Holograms showed human ships dropping out of jump right above the planet. No elegant formation, just a swarm, like angry bees. "They are here," Queen Mind Krell 9 said. Her voice shook for the first time. Outside, the sky filled with fire. Human ships rammed Vexari dreadnoughts. They did not try fancy maneuvers. They crashed straight in. Antimatter charges blew on contact. Huge explosions tore alien ships apart. Metal and crystal flew in every direction. Debris rained on the planet below. On the ground, Daniel Hayes led a strike team into the council tower. He carried a plasma rifle taken from a dead guard. His face looked hard. No more ambassador smile. Only purpose. They fought up the levels. Vexari guards tried to stop them. Tall crystal warriors with energy blades. But humans fought dirty. They used cover. They flanked. They threw grenades made from mining charges. One by one, the guards fell. Daniel reached the Great Hall. The council members stood frozen. Some tried to run. Others raised weapons. Daniel stepped forward. "You deemed us slaves," he said. His voice carried over the chaos. "Now, look at your world." Zorvek 7 turned. "This is madness. You cannot win. We are the Concord. We are eternal." Daniel raised his rifle. "You are eternal. Past tense." He fired. The shot hit Zorvek 7 in the center. The crystal body cracked. Light leaked out like blood. The Vexari fell. Other council members screamed. Outside, the battle grew worse for the aliens. Nicole Grant commanded a boarding party on a Krell hive ship. She wore patched armor. Her team moved through the dark corridors. Krell drones swarmed them. Ashley Torres's virus worked perfectly. The drones turned. They attacked their own masters. Hive minds screamed in confusion. Nicole reached the central chamber. The Queen Mind Krell 9 floated in a web of wires. Her many eyes stared at Nicole. "You were tools," the Queen said. "Nothing more." Nicole stepped closer. Tools can break the hand that holds them. She planted a charge. Her team ran. The explosion ripped the hive ship open. The Queen died in silence. Across the galaxy, the same story played out. On mining moons, slaves rose. They took control centers. They turned defense guns on alien ships. Human sleeper fleets arrived to help. They bombed orbital stations. They cut supply lines. Matthew Rivera flew one of the captured transports. He led a group to a Vexari crystal citadel in orbit. They boarded under fire. Samantha Ellis fought at the front. She took hits, but kept going. Kevin hacked the systems. He turned the citadel's own psionic amplifiers against the crew. The aliens inside went mad. They clawed at their own faces. They tore at each other. The citadel fell quiet. Human ships pressed forward. No mercy, no pause. Every alien fleet that tried to regroup met the same fate. Relativistic kill vehicles, simple metal rods dropped at near-light speed, smashed through formations. Shields meant nothing. Hulls crumpled. Laura Bennett stood in the command bunker on Earth. She watched the reports come in. Her face showed no joy, only focus. "Keep pushing," she said. "They do not get to surrender yet." The old council worlds burned. Gas cities fell from the sky. Nebula bases shattered. Rim strongholds went silent. Alien leaders broadcast messages. "We offer terms. Ceasefire. We will negotiate." Human command answered with one word: no. The fleets kept coming. On Zorath Prime, Daniel walked through the ruined hall. Bodies lay everywhere. Crystal shards crunched under his boots. He stood at the broken window. Below, fires burned across the city. Above, human ships controlled the sky. He spoke into his comm. "This is Daniel Hayes. The Council is gone. The Concord is broken. We have taken Zorath Prime." A cheer rose from every human channel. It echoed across the stars. But the fight was not over. Pockets of alien resistance still held. Some fleets ran. Some worlds fought back. Humans hunted them. Matthew met Samantha on the surface. They stood among the ruins. Smoke rose around them. "We did it," Matthew said. Samantha looked at the burning sky. "Not yet. Not until every chain is gone." Kevin joined them. He carried a datapad. More reports. "Human losses are high, but we keep winning." Daniel arrived last. He looked tired, but his eyes still burned. "The galaxy thought we would kneel," he said. "They learned different." They watched as another alien ship exploded in orbit. Bright light flashed, then darkness. The old order died that day. Piece by piece, ship by ship, world by world. Humanity's fury had waited years in silence. Now it roared, and nothing could stop it. The fires on Zorath Prime still burned when the last council ship tried to flee. It rose from the ruined landing field, engines screaming. A single human cruiser appeared behind it. No chase, no warning shot. Just one clean relativistic rod dropped from high orbit. The rod hit at a fraction of light speed. The alien ship vanished in a silent white flash. Nothing left but expanding gas and a few glowing fragments. Human fleets spread outward like a wave. They did not stop at the old borders. They pushed deeper into what had once been Concord space. Every system that had held alien strongholds now faced judgment. On the Vexari homeworld of Crystallis, the tall spires that had stood for 10,000 years cracked and fell. Matthew Rivera stood on the bridge of a captured transport. He watched the bombardment from orbit. Human ships fired steady beams. Crystal cities shattered like glass under a hammer. No wild cheers came from the crew. They watched in silence. This was not joy. This was balance. Samantha Ellis stood beside him. Her shoulders still hurt from the wound on Zorath Prime. She did not smile. "They built their world on our backs," she said. "Now it falls." Kevin Morales worked at a console nearby. He tracked escape pods. Some try to run. We let a few go, the ones who never held whips. Matthew nodded. The rest learn what chains feel like. Far away on Earth, Laura Bennett sat in the same bunker that had once hidden plans of revenge. Now screens showed victory reports. Losses were high. Millions dead across the years of occupation and the months of war. Cities on Earth still lay in ruins from the blockade. But the people walked the streets again. They rebuilt. They looked up at the sky without fear. Admiral Christopher Kane stood next to her. He had not slept in days. His voice sounded rough. "The last Krell hive cluster is breaking apart," he said. "The drones fight each other now." Laura looked at the map. Red dots faded one by one. "And the smaller species? The ones who followed the council?" "They surrender," Kane said. "Some beg for mercy. Some offer tribute. We take the tribute. Mercy comes later, if they earn it." She turned to him. "We do not become them." Kane met her eyes. "No, we do not, but we do not forget." Daniel Hayes walked the shattered floor of the great council hall. Wind blew through broken walls. Papers and crystal shards scattered under his boots. He stopped at the spot where Zorvex 7 had fallen. The cracked body still lay there, light gone dull. Daniel spoke to the empty room. "You said we were tools, useful tools. You were wrong. We were never tools. We were always people." He turned and walked out. Outside, human soldiers guarded the ruins. They did not loot. They did not destroy for fun. They waited for orders. News spread through the galaxy on open channels. Alien worlds heard it in their own languages. Humanity had won. The Concord was gone. No central power remained. Species that had once bowed to the Council now stood alone. Some panicked, some hid, some sent messages of peace. Human Command answered carefully. "Stay in your systems. Do not arm. Do not interfere. We will decide what comes next." On a quiet moon called Epsilon Rest, Nicole Grant met Ashley Torres. They stood on a hill, overlooking a small human settlement. People built houses again. Children played. The sky looked clear for the first time in years. Nicole looked at Ashley. "You think it's really over?" Ashley shook her head. "The fighting is over. The healing will take longer." They watched a ship land. It carried supplies from Earth. Food, medicine, tools. No weapons this time. Back in deep space, the last major battle ended. A mixed fleet of holdout aliens tried one final stand near the rim. They had gathered what remained of their ships. They formed a desperate line. Christopher Kane's vengeance led the attack. Human ships moved in tight groups. They used every trick learned in the occupation years. Fake signals, decoy drones, sudden jumps. The alien line broke in minutes. Human lances cut through shields. Explosions bloomed like flowers of fire. When the last enemy ship went dark, Kane gave the order to stand down. "Cease fire," he said. "Search for survivors. Treat the wounded. No more killing today." His officers looked surprised, but they obeyed. Kane sat in his chair. He stared at the stars. "We won," he said quietly. "Now we live with it." Months passed, then years. The galaxy changed shape. Old trade routes opened under human watch. New rules formed. No more forced labor. No more tribute to unseen masters. Species met as equals, or not at all. Earth did not claim an empire. It did not build a new council. It simply became the power no one dared challenge. Human ships patrolled the lanes. Human science spread. Human stories filled the void where alien propaganda once ruled. On a rebuilt New Horizon, Matthew Rivera walked with his family. Emily held his hand. The kids ran ahead. The colony looked new again. Green fields, tall buildings, people laughed in the streets. He stopped at a small monument. It showed a broken chain, names carved below, names of the lost, names of the fighters. Matthew touched the stone. "We paid a high price," he said. Emily nodded. "But we are free." Daniel Hayes visited Earth often. He spoke in halls and schools. He told the young ones what had happened, not to make them angry, to make them remember. "Do not trust easy," he said, "but do not hate forever. Strength is not in revenge. Strength is in choosing what comes after." Laura Bennett stepped down as president. She lived quietly in a small house by the sea. She watched sunsets. She thought of the day the decree came. She thought of the fury that answered. One evening, Christopher Kane visited her. They sat on the porch. "You ever regret it?" she asked. Kane looked at the water. "I regret the lives lost, not the fight." She smiled a little. "Good." The stars came out. They looked the same as always, but now they felt different, quieter, wiser. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson. Underestimate humanity at your peril. Chains make poor tools when the hands that wear them can break worlds. The day humanity was deemed slaves became a story told in whispers, a warning, a memory. And Earth's fury, once unleashed, faded back into watchful silence. Not gone, just resting, waiting, for the next fool who thought humans could be owned.